Before that, Lisa Hogan. Now, Lisa is Jeremy Clarkson's partner of 5 years. Now, she's revealed the secret to their happy relationship. She says, he courted me for quite a long time. He took me out for dinner, he picked me up and dropped me off. I wanted to know that he wasn't messing around. So I'm thinking, oh, that sounds quite nice. It almost sounds a little bit old-fashioned these days, Brenda, doesn't it? But what do you think of... Even the word courting, I quite like. You know, your parents always talked about, well, when your dad and I were courting. Yeah. And it's like, oh, sweet.
Well, let me tell you, courting meaning is to be involved with someone romantically with the intention of marrying. And the origin is from the 16th century when it meant paying court to a woman with the intention of marriage.
She does her research.
That's a little bit old-fashioned.
Yeah, I love that old-fashioned. You know I'm an old-fashioned romantic. I'm everything about romance. I want to be whisked, I want to be courted.
And you want it to end in marriage?
I just want it to just... I don't want it to end.
The courtship, the dating and the holding hands.
The holding hands, walking in the park, talking. I think it's important to establish, especially when you get older, maybe when you're younger, you know, you have different thoughts of what you want. But for somebody of my age, a nice little ripe 53, I like...
Ripe.
I like...
53, showbiz.
Well, excuse me, don't let me start on you two. But I think that it's really nice to have a romantic connection emotionally before you start thinking about the physical.
Do you think we've lost a bit of that, possibly with online dating, perhaps? Is it a bit... What are you doing?
You see, look at you.
I've picked something under the
What have you done?
No, I think it's my... I don't know.
Don't bend down, because you might never get up
She'll
again.
never get up.
She's knocked her Zimmer frame over, I think. Was it? No?
No, it was the walking stick.
No, but Kelly, talking, you know, like online dating,
Yeah.
do you think we've lost a little bit of, like, the courtship?
Yeah, I mean, well, as a Christian, we kind of look at it like dating can be a little bit formulaic. So you meet someone, you like them, and in some denominations, you kind of take that person to your pastor if you feel serious about them. Not in the early days, we're just getting to know each other, but once you've kind of got past that and you do feel like, I am ready, I do feel like I want to marry this person, then that relationship gets, you know, guided. And so
when you take them to the pastor, is that for the pastor to give approval or to talk to that person and say, what are your intentions with our lovely Kelly?
Yeah, it's a bit like that fatherly chat where they sit down and say, what are your intentions? And, you know, what do you really feel about this person? What do you see happening for yourselves in the future? So that you can kind of almost future-proof it, as in, you know, what are you both on the same page? Are you both going in the same direction? And then you've got a little bit of outside guidance. I know sometimes you can be a bit giddy, can't you, in those first early stages, and maybe you haven't thought about certain things that other people will see that kind of red flag and go, Kelly, have you noticed this? Or Kelly, have you seen that? Which you don't necessarily notice when you're in that, you know, lovely, romantic, you know, head giddy, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of done in that kind of...
Do you like a courtship, Colleen, or are you straight in there?
Depends what you mean by courtship. What do you mean? If he buys me a drink, if he buys me a sandwich, I'm in. And I'm happy.
I'm drinking a sandwich.
Drinking a sandwich. I'm a cheap
But then
date.
you loved a bit of Bridgerton. You two were
I
obsessed
love
with
Bridgerton. I know, but I couldn't have lived in those days. I mean, I did love the Duke.
The bonnet wouldn't suit you, would it? Really, would
I don't know. But I did love Bridgerton, and I love all that old-fashioned romance. But I wouldn't like to go back to that time. Like, they were caught kissing in the courtyard, and then it was like, well, you have to marry her now because you've just been caught on your own in the court. I mean, I'd have been married 25,000 times by now.
When I was 17, I hadn't kissed anybody. When I was 17, I had this boyfriend, and I got caught by my Auntie Pam underneath a tunnel, and she hit me with her umbrella all the way home.
Did she?
Yeah.
Why? Because you kissed someone?
Yeah. Yeah. It was against the rules.
And what about your church? Would you have...
Mine was totally opposite to Kelly. Unfortunately, this same person, I was told by the pastor to bring him to church, and I did with a friend, and we sat down, and one of the first questions I was asked was about, am I having any sexual activity? At that time, I didn't even know what sex was, so it was very, very...
How old were you then?
I was 16, 17, and I hadn't even thought about that.
Embarrassing.
But they didn't come back. They never came back to church after that. They were gone.
Funnily.
Yeah.
Never saw that boy again.
Yeah, it's one thing to...
16 or 17, you didn't know what sexual activity was?
No. Well,
I'm a bad girl.
You are. You are.
I'm loving life,
say nothing. But it can be nice to get that support. Yeah. When you've got that support, it's wonderful, but, yeah.
Well, listen, Brenda's ripe for courting, as she says. Ripe
I
for
am
courting.
not.
Yes. You said it. You said it.
I love